Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Monday's Assembly. As I was thinking about what we could talk about this morning, I realised that quite a few of my conversations over the last couple of weeks seem to have been around promises, and it's really made me think about how important promises are in our lives. So I thought I'd spend some time with you this morning just exploring the idea of promises. And to help me, I'd like to introduce you to a few people who've made some really important promises in their lives recently. So I'm just going to introduce them to you by getting their photos up. And then I'll tell you a bit about their stories and what they've been up to. So this is my beautiful niece, Ellie, and her lovely husband, Rowan. They got married back in February, and it was a really beautiful day. All of their family and friends gathered together and celebrated with them. They got married in a really beautiful church in London, and it was just spectacular. I have to say, everything about it was beautiful. The whole day. I'll show you some pictures. This is them at the front of the church during their wedding service when some of their friends were praying for them. And this is them as they left the church. And you can just see how much joy there is, not only on their faces, but look at the people behind them. That's their family and friends, and everybody just so happy for them. It was, like I said, a beautiful, perfect day. But part of me actually felt quite sad when it was over and we all had to go home. But there was something that kept me going, because I knew that just 3 weeks after Ellie and Rowan's wedding, my nephew, Ben, was supposed to be getting married. And this is Ben and his beautiful girlfriend, Sophie. So although we were sad that Ellie and Rowan's wedding day was over, we knew that we had Ben and Sophie's day to look forward to. They were due to get married 3 weeks later, and we were all really excited about it. Ben and Sophie have been together for years. They actually met at Edgebarrow when they were in the sixth form together there. But if you just stop for a moment and think about the timings, you might be able to guess what I'm about to say next. 5 days before Ben and Sophie were due to get married, the country went into lockdown. And they were told that they couldn't get married in church because people weren't allowed to go into churches anymore. People weren't allowed to gather in groups. And they certainly wouldn't have been allowed to have the celebration and the party afterwards that they had planned. We were all so disappointed for them. They had waited years for their wedding day. So much planning had gone into it, and everybody had been so excited about it. And suddenly it looked as if it had been taken away from them, and there was nothing that could be done. Or was there? Their church pastor had an idea. You see, he knew that although they had this amazing wedding planned with a beautiful dress and an amazing party, actually the most important part of their wedding for them was going to be the promises that they were going to make to each other. And they also were desperate for their family and friends to see them do that. They were going to make promises, like Ellie and Rowan had, that they would love each other, that they would look after each other and support each other throughout their lives together. So their pastor had an idea. He said, it's your promises that are most important part, and you want your friends and family to see you make those promises. So why don't you get married on Zoom? So that's exactly what they did. On the day and at the time that we should have all been gathered in church to watch them get married, instead we all logged onto Zoom. And you can see that's just one page of people's photos there. There were lots of other pages as all their friends and family logged on to watch Ben and Sophie make those promises to each other. Promises that they would try and keep for the rest of their lives. That was the most important part. The promises that they would make to each other. Just as it had been the most important part of Ellie and Rowan's wedding as well. So two very different weddings. One in a very beautiful, traditional, old-fashioned church, and one through the wonders of technology and Zoom, which we all seem to be using so much at the moment. But within both, the most important part was the promises that they made to each other. So as I've been thinking about promises, I was thinking about how important they are and how we all try really hard to keep the promises we make, and how God makes us promises. So what is a promise? It's a declaration or assurance that someone will do something or that a particular thing will happen. When you make someone a promise, you're assuring them that you will definitely do something or that you will make something happen for them. It's a big thing to make someone a promise, isn't it? I looked up how many promises there are in the Bible. How many promises does God make us? And there were over 3,000. That's incredible. 3,000 promises that God makes to us. And he will always keep his promises. One of the first promises is in the story of Noah, just after the earth has been flooded. God says to Noah, "The rainbow that I have put in the sky will be my sign to you and to every living creature on earth. It will remind you that I will keep this promise forever. When I send clouds over the earth and a rainbow appears in the sky, I will keep my promise to you and to all other living creatures. Never again will I let floodwaters destroy all life. When I see the rainbow in the sky, I will always remember the promise that I have made to every living creature." I love it when I see rainbows in the sky. I often stop and take a picture of them. They remind me that God makes promises to us and that he will always keep them. If I had to pick one of the 3,000 promises that is my favourite, I think it would be this one from Joshua chapter 1. I've shared it with you before, I know, in many assemblies, but this is what it says. "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." And that's a promise that God makes. He will be with us wherever we go. Wherever we are, whatever situation we face, God is with us. And we can hold on to that promise and know that it's true. So as you move into this week, I want you to remember those two special weddings, but also that the most important part is the promises that they made to each other. And think about perhaps promises that you might have made to someone. Promises can be hard to keep, and we have to work at it if we really want to keep them for someone. Let's say our school prayer together. Dear God, help us to do the things we should, to be to others kind and good. In all we do and in all we say, to be more caring every day. Amen. If we were in school, I'd probably be asking you to stand up and sing that song, "He'll Be There." The words of that song remind us of the verse that I've just read out from Joshua, that God will be with us no matter where we are or whatever we're facing. So I hope that encourages you this week, whether you're coming into school to do your learning or whether you're staying at home. For those of you who are at home, we still miss you, and I can't wait for the day when we can stand in the hall together and sing some of our favourite songs. So take care. I will see you soon, and we look forward to hearing what you've been up to this week. Send in your feedback to your teachers, send us emails, and let us know what's going on at home and in your lives. All right, take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.